What's going on, everybody? This is episode 719 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And I want to apologize about yesterday. I went out with the family, so I did not have an episode prepared. But nevertheless, I did make a statement on my YouTube community wall saying that I was going to do an episode today, 12/9/2023. So we're going to continue the show on that note. So today we're going to talk some Atlanta Falcons. Georgia Southern is getting prepared for their bowl game against Ohio, and the transfer portal is going crazy. So I don't know how things are going to go with that right now. It's still kind of early. They play in a little bit over a week, and the transfer portal. If you know anything about Georgia Southern, they usually bring in transfers usually in January. So I don't see anything happening right now, but we're going to talk Atlanta Falcons football. The last 5 games that they have, they're very winnable. And like I said in the last episode, this could be something really big if we can lock down a few things on offense. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. If you want to check the episodes out on the podcast avenues, they're there for you to check out. Just type in First and Frame Rates. They should pop right on up. If you're on any of those platforms, give me a 5-star rating or give me the highest rating possible on any of the other platforms. It's not Apple. I really would appreciate it. It helps the podcast grow. I can also be found on X or Twitter at VF Baller. And the website is firstandframerates.com. If you want to donate and help the show grow, the Cash App and PayPal links are below. I really would appreciate it. All right, let's just get into this. 5 games left the Falcons have. We're looking at the Buccaneers on this upcoming Sunday. You also have the Panthers the following week, the Colts, the Bears, and the Saints. We have a very winnable schedule. If we play our cards right, if we play football like we know that we can, even if we are, for me, is unpopular, but even if we have the unpopular type of games where we run the ball all day and we're successful at it, we can win all 5 of these games pretty handily. None of these teams don't seem like a really big threat. All the elite teams are pretty much locked in. We looked at the playoffs picture last episode on what it could look like. And for the most part, we look like we're locked in the 4th seed. We will be hosting a playoff game. And you can look at these 5 games as somewhat as a warm-up or somewhat as a I ain't gonna say preseason, but a way to get yourself together when it comes to offensive balance. Because these teams, like I said, they're good as far as NFL talent. I mean, there's no like bad teams in the NFL, in my opinion. Everybody has some good talent. Everybody can be beat on any day. But I feel like the Falcons have the advantage, or at least on 4 of these 5 games. The only game I'm really worried about is possibly the Colts. But I still say advantage Falcons because we are at home. The Bears, we are playing them away. Not really worried about them too much. The Bears are the Bears. They're not very good, but they're playing at home as well. So that's something else you have to worry about. Yeah, they're going to be playing in Chicago, and that weather may be something crazy. But when you look at the Buccaneers, the Panthers, we're going to Charlotte to play the Panthers, which I have no faith in the Panthers. And we're playing the Saints, and you know what the Saints are about. The Saints don't look that good either. You're looking at a game, you're looking at the way that we can win all 5 of these games, or we can win at least 4 out of the 5. The only game that I'm really, really worried about is probably the Colts game. And that's because of the fact that the Colts are the better team out of these 5 games that we're going to be playing. So it could be a situation where we could go 4-1. Well, what did that take us? Well, that'll give us a 10-7 record. We basically flip our season schedule from last year. That will give us the number 4 seed, and we'll probably be playing. We'll probably be playing the Dallas Cowboys, or you never know, if Dallas do end up winning the division, we may end up playing the Eagles, but we be hosting them. So that's a big advantage. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Like, this Falcons team is under a lot of scrutiny, and I understand it. It's mainly because of the offense. I mean, you got a pretty decent pass rush now. You got Jesse Bates and a couple of guys in the secondary actually playing pretty good. I don't know the status on Nate Landman, but our linebackers are okay. but we would like to have Landman back at the very least. Looking at this offense, you have talent. You got guys that are capable of getting the ball and making some things happen. We got a handful of playmakers. But at the end of the day, it all starts with the quarterback. I mean, I know our run game is pretty much the bread and butter, and it's good to have a good running game, but that running game has to be predicated on us taking control early in the game. You don't want to be running the ball when you're down by like 10 points late in the game. You want to be running the ball when you're up like, when you're up like 10 points. So I would like to see the offense start to get somewhat of a rhythm when it comes to the first and second quarter. Keep the game somewhat close, probably even in a one-score game like we normally do, and just wear the defense out at the end of the day. I mean that's basically how, that's basically the formula of the Falcons, the way Coach Arthur Smith wanted it to be done. Now, I've been very critical of this team. I said I'm checked out on Coach Arthur Smith. I'm not sure if he's going to, I pretty much feel like he's not going to be the guy to get us in the Super Bowl. I would love to be wrong, but I just don't feel it. And Desmond Ridder, I think he's just good enough to win you a few football games. A lot of people think he's a backup. He could be a starter, but he's going to need a lot of weapons around him to prosper. And it seems like that's kind of like what the Falcons have now with Pitts, London, Mack, Scotty Miller, Van Jefferson. You got, the three-headed monster in the backfield. He has a lot of weapons around him, and that's all he needs. He's not one of these guys. I don't feel, now this is my opinion, I don't feel like he's one of these guys that'll make other players, elevate their game. I think he'll do just enough to make sure if you're in that position to get the ball, you're going to be fine. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you don't turn the ball over and don't do anything crazy with the ball, you're going to win football games. So I feel like with the schedule that we have now, what we got going on with the team, I feel that this team could, I want to say it like this. I think these guys could get their act together when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, and the defense could just get better with playing the level of competition that they have. And when it comes playoff time, they'll be primed and ready to compete with anybody. I think that's what the mantra should be for the Falcons. All this is just getting better week by week. And you have competition that you really don't have to worry about trying to, actually be better than you on the field. You can play, your game for all 5 of these games. You could play your game to the fullest and be successful. And all you're gonna do is go get better. You're gonna get better at running your offense. The defense is gonna get better at looking at what's in front of them for the next 5 games. So when they do play that better talent in the playoffs, they will be more prepared because, repetition is the mother of skill. You know what I'm saying? Repetition is the closest thing to get to perfection. And if they keep doing what they're doing, those things would happen. Now they have to do it at a higher level. They have to be better at it. And, looking at what they're capable of accomplishing, it could be a really good thing. There's one of the reasons why I say they could possibly go on a run. They could be one of the hottest teams in the NFL if they get the offense in line with what the defense is doing. If the offense could do what the opposite, I think that was going to sound crazy, but let's go with it. If the offense could do the opposite of what the defense is doing, this team will be absolutely unstoppable. And I'm dead serious when I say that. You're looking at a Falcons team that have not given up a touchdown in 2 games. Think about that. They haven't given a touchdown in 2 games. If they continue that streak where, let's say, in the next 5 games, let's say they give up 3 touchdowns. In the next 5 games, the defense will give up 3. I'll give them 5. They give up 1 touchdown in the next 5 games. So a touchdown a game. You mean to tell me that the Falcons can't win those games? Let's just think about it. Let's just think about this. If the Falcons just bend a little bit and give up a touchdown a game for the next 5 games, we're going to spot each team that we're facing 7 points. You don't think this Falcons offense could render up enough points to win those games? I mean, we just played against the Jets and got 13. So 13 is higher than 7. You know what I mean? It's just, to me, it's just something to think about. if the defense of the Falcons continue to play the way they're playing, and let's just say they backslide a little bit and they give up a touchdown per game, or let's just say, for instance, they don't give up a touchdown for the next 4 out of 5 games. Now that'd be phenomenal, but I'm just saying, or 3 out of the 5 games. What if one of these games they do give up a few touchdowns and don't give up any in the rest of the games? It's just something to think about because, just to spread out the love, the Buccaneers, the Panthers, the Colts, Bears, Saints, they all get 1 touchdown for the next game. I think the Falcons can win these games, and they're all predicated on the defense. Now, like I said, the offense going to have to get their act together. I mean, I get it. You played against the Jets, against a pretty decent defense, and it was in bad conditions. It was an ugly win, but it's a win. I mean, people are going to hold that against them, but you got to understand, prior to that, the Falcons put up 24. They put up against the Cardinals 23. They put up against the Vikings 28. They put up against the Titans 23. The Falcons beat the Buccaneers. They put up 16. Even against the Commanders, they put up 16. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they've basically put up at least 13. Well, I'll take that back. They put up at least 16 points in every game this season, except for the Jaguars and the Lions game. You know what I'm saying? And we already know how those 2 games went. Outside of that, all season they put up at least 16 points or more. And in every win that they had, they put up 25, 21, 16, and 24, and 13. So they're capable of putting up more points than 7. You know what I'm saying? So the defense, if they keep doing what they're doing, I mean, that's going to be a defense nobody wants to play against. Nobody's going to want to play against this Falcons defense if they keep playing like this. You know what I'm saying? They're just not. Now, you saw what happened against, running quarterbacks. That's basically what it was. Running quarterbacks, when you played against the Cardinals and the Vikings, you saw what happened there. And, the Commanders game, you saw what happened there with all those interceptions. And the Lions and the Jaguars, those games, I feel like the defense was just trying to find themselves. Desmond Ridder was still trying to find himself. I don't think we still have the Desmond Ridder of week, 3 and 4 in this upcoming game. I don't think we have the same Desmond Ridder. I don't think we're gonna have a Desmond Ridder that turns the ball over like that. And then when you look at the Titans game, I mean, you could at least take 14 points off the board for the Titans because a couple of those, AJ Terrell got robbed. I mean, straight pass interference on DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, it was almost egregious. And with all that being said, we still lost that game by 5. And if Van Jefferson don't drop that pass, then you're looking at a situation where we could have been driving for a touchdown. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? Yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But nevertheless, that's just how it goes. Now, when you're looking at the rest of this, like I said, once again, we're going to end off with this. You look at these next 5 games, they're very winnable for the Falcons. These are really good situations where the Falcons can get better. They're not really. I don't believe this team is going to be tested. Maybe against the Colts, but I don't think this team is going to be tested, and they're going to cruise their way into the playoffs. I firmly believe that if the defense plays like this, like they've been playing the last couple of games, they're going to cruise into the playoffs. They have very favorable games upcoming, and if they make this a routine, they make this a way where they can get better. They could be a problem in the playoffs. They really can. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. They can be. And don't let them win the first game at home because they're hosting a playoff game. If they win their game at home, it could be a real problem for the rest of the NFC. Because nobody wants to play a stout defense in the playoffs. Nobody wants to do that. If you like this, comment, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. You think I'm talking crazy? You think the Falcons are a bunch of losers? You think they're not going to go far? You got to understand, man. Whoever we play, we could beat them at home in the playoffs if we do make these next 5 games. And I think we're in a really good position to do so. One game at a time. I get it. We're playing the Buccaneers and we go off to the Panthers, but these are very winnable games. There's no reason for us to be going 3-2 or going 2-3 or 1-4. These games right here, you should be able, at the very minimum, you should be going 4-1. At the minimum. I will be extremely disappointed if they go less than 4-1. And then when you get in the playoffs, you play in the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys are not a guaranteed win or loss. I mean, they're not a guaranteed loss. Cowboys tend to choke, y'all. Y'all know that. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble, also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Let me know what you guys think. Give me a 5-star rating on the Apple Podcast Avenue and all the other avenues. If they have a rating, give me the highest one available. If you think I'm doing a great job, I really would appreciate it. Any feedback will be awesome. You can give me the feedback on X or Twitter at VFBaller, or even in the comment section of these podcast avenues. I think they have those as well. The website is firstandframerates.com. And if you want to donate or support the show, CashApp and PayPal links are below. You can check those out, and I really would appreciate it. All right, y'all. I'm going to get out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you then. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace.